Hi, boys and girls, and moms and dads. This week in math, we're working on addition. So I'm going to send you a picture of this chart paper. This is something that we talked a little bit about at the beginning of our earlier this year, but we didn't kind of quite get through it as much as I would have liked to. So I thought I would just kind of run through some of the strategies and how I would typically teach it to the kids in the classroom. And some of these things might help you this week as you're working through adding. All right, so our first adding strategy is to use your fingers. And that's pretty self-explanatory. I know sometimes when I'm doing math, I still catch myself using my fingers. So the idea behind that is just if the addition question was 4 plus 2, that you're gonna hold up 4 on this hand and 2 on this hand and then count them. So that's one strategy that we teach the kids how to use. They very quickly recognize that only works up to 10, and then we have to start thinking about some other ideas. So the first strategy is use your fingers. The second one we teach the students is to use manipulatives. Now, in the classroom, manipulatives are things like these snap cubes. We use popsicle sticks, we use bears, we have kind of a shelf of things that we use. But at home, I was working on adding with my daughter. So again, I have some things at home with me right now, but I know lots of you don't. So you can use any kind of loose parts around your house. So you can get some rocks from outside, you can get some pasta noodles, kind of anything around your house, Lego, things that you have, up to 20 to practice adding. So when it comes to manipulatives, if I was doing adding with my students, it's great to have 2 different colors. So in this case, I could use yellow and white. And then if the question was 6, we would find 6 of one color. So we'd find 6 cubes and count them all together. And then there's 2 on the other side. So 6 plus 2. And then I would teach them that you would count every block. So we can figure out 6 plus 2 together. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then 7 and 8. So we know that 6 plus 2 is 8. So as we practice addition, I would show them what a number sentence looks like. So 6 plus 2 equals 8. And we'll talk about these signs, like what plus means, what equals means, and things like that. So that's another strategy. So that's using manipulatives. Again, you can use any kind of loose parts, counters that you have around your house. Counting on is, sorry, I dropped my camera. Counting on is one of those strategies that just teaches kids that if the question was 6 plus 2, well, we already know that this is 6. So we don't really have to count because we've already figured out that this is 6. So we would say 6 plus 2 is 8. And I would figure that out by putting 6 in my mind. I would hold that number in my mind, and I would know that 7 and 8 come next as you're counting. So 6 plus 2, I know 6, and then I keep counting 7 and 8. Let's try another one. I'm just going to kind of put some blocks up. They're different colors, but it doesn't matter. So let's say the question was 4 plus 2. Well, we already know this is 4 because we made 4. So we don't have to count it. We're going to hold 4 in our brain and ask ourselves, what comes after 4 when we're counting? Well, we know 5 comes next. So 4, 5, and 6. So 4 plus 2 is 6. So that's the counting on strategy. It just makes adding quicker, and especially when we get into 2-digit counting, it makes it much quicker than counting every single block that you have. So let's try one more counting on. So I know that on this side there's 6, and on this side there's 4. So I'm going to hold the bigger number in my brain, and I know that this is 6. So I'm going to say 6, and then I'm going to ask myself, what comes after 6? 7, 8, 9, and 10. So 6 plus 4 is 10. So that's the counting on strategy, holding those numbers in your mind and asking yourself, what comes next? So that's counting on. Drawing a picture, that's pretty self-explanatory. So if my adding question was 4 plus 3, I would tell my friends, sometimes you don't have manipulatives at home, or you don't have blocks, or you don't have things in front of you to help you add, but you can always draw pictures to help you. So 4, I can draw 4 circles, 1, 2, 3, 4 to show 4. And then on this side, I'm going to draw 3 hearts. And then all I have to do is count the objects together. And I can use my counting on strategy. I know that this is 4. I don't need to count it again. So I would say 4, 5, 6, and 7. So 4 plus 3 is 7. So that's the strategy of drawing a picture. And then our last strategy is using a number line. And usually in the classroom we have number lines for all the students to use, but let me just show you this one. And again, I'll send you a picture. So it's super easy to draw a number line from 1 to 10 and just kind of make equal spaces between each number. So the idea behind this number line is that we were trying to figure out what 3 plus 2 was. So when you're using a number line to add, you're going to start at the first number. So 3 was our first number, and then we were adding 2. So we're going to take 2 hops on our number line, 1, 2. So then we are at 5. So we figured out that 3 plus 2 is 5. Now, boys and girls, at school, on our morning carpet time, we use number lines every single morning, right? We do hops to figure out how many kids are in our class. So the number line isn't something new. That's something we look at every day. So again, if I was going to do the question 5 plus 3, and I was going to use the number line, we would have to start at the first number. So I said 5 plus 3. So I'll put my finger on 5, and then I'm adding 3. So I need to do 3 hops. 1, 2, 3. And what number did I land on? 8. So 5 plus 3 is 8. And that's how I would write my number sets. It's 5 plus 3 is 8. All right, that was a very quick rundown on adding strategies. And usually we would talk about one strategy and practice that for a day or 2. So this isn't something that you have to master, in a week of learning at home, but these are just some strategies that while you're practicing adding that might be helpful, and some things that whether you're going to grade 1 next year or staying in SK with us, these are some things we'll talk about some more next year. All right, have a great day, boys and girls. Happy adding.